Hello, this is Melissa, your insurance exam queen, and we are here on this channel to help make sure you can pass your insurance exam with ease and confidence.
Which of the following elements is necessary for the formation of a legally valid contract? Okay, they're putting in a lot of words here. The key thing is the elements of a legal contract. The elements of a legal contract except. So there are 4 elements of a legal contract. 4 elements of a legal contract: agreement, consideration, competent parties, legal purpose. Agreement, consideration, competent parties, legal purpose. Those are the 4 elements. You should have that memorized. Tattoo it to your forehead type of memorization. No matter what exam you're taking, property, casualty, personal lines, life, health, this will be a question. Or something related to the 4 elements will be a question. So again, this is an except question. So we have to remind ourselves what is true. So the formation of a legally valid contract, the word formation is just extra, it's unnecessary. It could throw you off. You're like, oh my God, formation of a legal contract. 4 elements of a legal contract. Our keywords are elements, legal, contract. Elements, legal, contract. Those are our key words. That's what we want to focus in on. And we have to remember there are 4 elements: agreement, consideration, competent parties, legal purpose. So then we ask ourselves, true, false. Is consideration an element of a legal contract? True. Is agreement an element of a legal contract? True. Is signatures of a party an element of a legal contract? No. False. That is my correct answer. And double check. Competent parties, is that an element of a legal contract? Yes. So our correct answer here is blue. Yes, and somebody asked what was the 4th one? So it's agreement, consideration, competent parties, legal purpose. And it doesn't matter what order they're in. There's just 4 of them. You need to know all 4. And we definitely have free YouTube videos that talk about all 4. And I really go in depth into my gold, any of my class series for the 4 elements of a legal contract, because it is so highly tested for everybody. Okay. Yeah. One way of saying it is CLAC, consideration, legal purpose, agreement, competent parties. I don't understand why that's not the answer. What do you mean, Samantha? Do you want me to unmute you so you can chat with me about it? Okay. All right. So I allowed you to unmute, I think.
Hi.
Okay.
Okay, so I just don't understand how it could be a valid contract without a signature.
Because it's just not one of the legal elements. It's just not. And for any contract to be a valid contract, there are just 4 things: agreement, consideration, competent parties, legal purpose. Does having a signature make sense? Yes. Has every contract you've ever needed require you to sign it? Yes. But it's not one of the 4 elements.
Okay, got it.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just not. So this is why we, sometimes, our real world experience, you're like, well, any contract I've ever had, I've had to sign it. That's true. But a signature, it may activate the contract, right? It may get it started, but actually there's been a few life insurance policies that I haven't signed that, like, you can buy it online, right? Sometimes you have to do like a digital signature. But there are some contracts that don't actually require signatures, but you probably have always signed in that case, but it's just simply not, it's just not one of the elements.
Okay, this conversation will help me remember.
Perfect. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, so going back to the questions here. I thought all contracts need a, okay, yep, So, but it's not. It is not one of the necessary 4 elements. Signature is not one of the necessary 4 elements. Okay. Can you define competent parties? A competent party is someone who is old enough, knows what they're doing, not under the influence of drugs and alcohol. So a competent party is someone who's old enough, I know what I'm doing, I'm not under the influence of drugs and alcohol. And is there another one? Yeah. Sound mind, I know what I'm doing, not under the influence of, oh, and old enough. I'm old enough. That's the other one. Okay. So you're only allowed to sell insurance to someone who is old enough, who knows what they're doing, not under the influence of drugs and alcohol, and sound mind. Knows what they're doing and sound mind means the same thing. I think there is a not competent party running down the street right now. She's screaming at somebody, but I hope she's okay. Okay. All right. What is an element? An element is just a thing. So it's just a feature. It's a component. It's just a part of it. So like, like my outfit, earrings are an element. It's just part of it. It just makes it what it is. Don't stress too much about the word element. It's just saying this is what is a part of something. Can you go over question number 1? I don't even remember question number 1. Criteria element, yes. Is there an age for old enough? Okay, this is a good question. Generally speaking, 18 is old enough, an adult, right? So you have to be an adult to buy an insurance policy. There are a few states where you can be younger than 18 and purchase a policy, but it's almost never asked about except on life insurance. So there's some states where you can be only 15 and purchase life insurance. There's also a very small handful of states that will allow, if you are a foster child, to be able to purchase car insurance on your own, because there's no one legally who can back you to purchase a policy unless you were to get adopted. It is very rare to be tested on that. And if you are, it'll show up in your state law section. But generally speaking, think 18. And it's not, don't even try to dig for that. Like, don't even look for that information. If you didn't see it, don't worry about it. Just assume 18. When we're trying to pass the exam, we're going for the 70%. And the 70% says old enough is 18. And that's all we need to know. Thank you. One was when you're held responsible. Oh, vicarious liability. Vicarious liability says you are responsible for the acts of your child. A parent is responsible for the acts of their child. And a employer is responsible for acts of the employee. So vicarious liability says I'm the one that's responsible for what someone else did. And it's typically going to be parent to child. That's the most common example. It's the structure of the contract in order to sign it. Yeah, you can't even sign, like, that's a good point, Donatello, is there's no signature needed if this is not a valid form. So in order for you to even sign it, so going back to this question here that we have, you can't even sign it if you don't have these 4 things. Without these 4 things, there's nothing to sign. That's kind of one way to think about it. Quick question, not regarding the situation. Will we go over content area of policy provisions and contract law? This is contract law right here. This is part of contract law. And this test, these questions can potentially cover policy provisions, yes. So this is a mixed bag right now of general PC basics, and I think there's a little bit of dwelling on here.